In this, the 154th episode of Flipping Genius, I'll be sharing some of my favorite resources. If you buy and sell vehicles for a profit or you want to, you're in the right place. This is the Flipping Genius podcast. Our number one goal is to help our listeners make more money. Every episode, we share information, ideas, and experiences of real-life car flippers. I'm Randy Lee. I'm the host of Flipping Genius. I've flipped cars most of my life. For over a dozen years now, I've been a licensed dealer. I am working to build the best podcast about successfully flipping cars for a consistent profit. Let's get to it, flippers. Hello, flippers, and soon-to-be flippers, and all of you geniuses too. Welcome to episode number 154 of Flipping Genius. And as we get into this, the fourth season of the Flipping Genius podcast, I figured it'd be a good time to share some of my favorite resources for everything from buying replacement parts to recommended entertainment while I wait for a buyer to return with an envelope full of cash. Lots of tips and referrals, all free and all legit recommendations from me, Randy Lee, to you, the Flipping Genius audience in 76 countries now, and all 50 of the United States of America. I just checked this morning. We're up to 76 countries. That's pretty wild, isn't it? And thank you all for listening and watching throughout the network of podcasts and on the YouTube station, our YouTube channel, Flipping Genius. And if you're not a subscriber to the Flipping Genius YouTube channel yet, please subscribe today, right now, immediately, pronto. So you won't have to stop and write these things down. I'm going to start out by saying that if you would like me to send a complete list of every resource that I mentioned on today's episode, along with a link to the website, where that's applicable, just email me at flippingquestions@gmail.com and include resources in the title of your email. Also, if there are any questions you have, any resources that I left off that you are seeking, or recommendations that you'd like to share with me and potentially all of the Flipping Genius audience everywhere, please include those in the body of your email, and I'll reply as promptly as possible and share whatever you would like me to share. Because the goal of Flipping Genius is to help our users make more money. So if you've got an idea on how folks can do that, let's share. I'm going to start off with, since I said replacement parts, I'm going to start right there with replacement parts, and I'll just jump right into that. The first place that comes to mind with replacement parts for me, and I've talked about it before many times, is car-part.com. It's the place where I go to get parts for vehicles when I can buy used parts. And that's frequently the case. As you know, I'm trying to cut costs anytime I can. And car-part.com is a resource that ties all the junkyards in America together. And it's a phenomenal source. I can't tell you how many times I've used that. I do not receive an affiliate commission from car-part.com. I do want to say that some of the places I'll mention today, I do have affiliate agreements with, and they will pay me a small commission if you purchase through us, through our resources page, but most of them I do not. And car-part.com is one I do not. The next one also I do not. Rock Auto. Now, if you've been alive in America over the past 5 years, you've probably heard the Rock Auto advertisements, and they've done a great job of getting their name out there, but they've done a better job of just doing a great job. Rock Auto is a great resource for buying all different levels of parts. Typically, I'm buying stuff at the low end, something that's acceptable for replacement. And I talked to Gary at Dennis Johnson, my guy's my mechanic, and Gary's the operations manager there, and just make sure that it's okay for us to buy a starter for this or buy a alternator for that. And if I do, should I stay away from, the cheapest ones, and he leads me on that. But Rock Auto is a great place, a great resource. Another great resource, and these are the three ones that I use all the time, so I'm just being straight with you, is Amazon.com. Amazon.com, I do have some arrangements with them, so there's a few things that they will pay me a commission on, but obviously we're all using Amazon. I think everybody anywhere. It's amazing how much we use it. And you'll find on the Flipping Genius website, FLIPPINGENIUS.com, you'll find a great deal on floor mats and hubcaps that I get directly from Amazon.com. If you buy them through the website, they give me a couple nickels, and you will save money on those. Those are some great offers. You'll also see some other things on there. Right now, we're talking about parts, but next thing I want to talk about is tools. So the next thing I want to talk about is tools. Seemed like a good thing to piggyback there. And again, Amazon is like probably the number one resource for tools. Now, I want to say that I'm going to say it here, probably mention it again. I'm not talking about barter today. I know in the past I do talk about barter a lot, and today I'm trying not to squeeze that in. So when I'm dealing with cash, it's Amazon. Harbor Freight is probably, as far as a local place where I'm going to go pick up tools, Harbor Freight's really my first choice. But lately I've been buying more and more on Amazon, and you'll see some posts on the website where are some tools that I recommend. And of course, Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace is a place where I'm going to pick up a lot of things, both used and new. Next thing I want to talk about is tires. Tires, if I can buy them from Dennis, I will. And I do buy used tires frequently from a local source. But if I'm buying new tires, my first place I'm going to look is TireRack.com. Second is TireAmerica.com. And third is DiscountTireDirect.com. Those three will usually be the best deal that I can get on new tires. And I'll have them shipped right to my mechanic and have them installed there. And generally, I can save quite a bit of money over local tire shops. And if you've got a relationship with your local tire guy, I don't want to discourage that, but those are the three I use. By the way, I don't know if I probably mentioned already, but if I haven't, remember, we've got a resources page on flippinggenius.com, FLIPPINGENIUS.com. The resources page has most everything I talk about so far, at least, posted on there with links. But like I said, if you want me to send you a PDF with live links, I'll be happy to do that. Just email me. Those are my three top sources for tires. There's some other ones too that are posted on there on the resources page. Vehicle auctions is the next thing that came to mind. Now, there are vehicle auctions all across the country. Last episode, I talked quite a bit about my experience in the last 12 months with Insurance Auto Auction. And I kind of feel like I ought to do the same thing with a couple others, but Dealer Auto Auction is one. Now, that's more of a regional operation, but it's one that I've done a tremendous amount of work with. I mean, a tremendous amount of the percentage of work that I've done. I'm pretty small time, so I don't want to give any idea that I'm a huge player anyplace, but Dealer Auto Auction is, I believe, an exceptional operation. And Copart, those are the three auction houses that I bought 95% of my auction cars that way. And again, if you've got if you don't have any of those in your area, or you're looking for more auction alternatives, number one, go to our website. Number two, click on the link for your local association of independent auto dealers, and you're going to probably find either there or at the national site links to other auction houses if that's something you're looking for. Next thing I want to talk about is marketing tools. And I'm just going through these things, telling you about the stuff that I use that works for me. And like I said, if you've got something else you want to recommend, please reach out to me. Again, on the marketing tools, I'm not talking about barter today, just talking about how to market your business. And obviously, one of the things that I use all the time, and you hear me talk about, is Anchor. If you are interested in doing a podcast, Anchor is fantastic. I recommend them. GoDaddy. If you don't have a domain name registered for your business yet, GoDaddy's the place to go. Sure, there's other places to do it, but I use GoDaddy and have for a long, long time. Facebook Marketplace is absolutely a place where it's the number one resource for me to sell. And it's a pretty strong resource to buy, not only the tools, but also vehicles. I use Facebook groups also. I didn't have it on my list, but certainly Facebook groups is another place that we use. Nextdoor is one of my favorite resources outside of the Facebook arena. I participate in other social media, but mostly that's just for fun. Nextdoor, if you're not aware of Nextdoor, it's a great tool to kind of zero in on your backyard, and you can promote your business. You can buy vehicles there. You can communicate with your community through Nextdoor, and I think it's a good tool for building an audience, building a community, a presence in your community. Google My Business is something I highly recommend, depending on how you're operating your business. If you are a licensed dealer, if you run a license, if you're operating that way, or if you're just a flipper, there's no reason why you can't establish a identity as a business. And I highly recommend that. Wherever you're at, check out Google My Business. It's free, and it gives you an opportunity to create a picture of your business. As you know, I probably talked about Wix.com. That's where we design our website, Wix.com. And again, like I said, go to our resources page. When you do, you'll probably see some advertisements there for Wix. I've used them for a long time for a lot of websites, and we actually have the paid version on our site now with flippinggenius.com, but I still use some of their free ones too, and they work fantastic. Take one little break here. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to talk about more resources, and let me share some more with you. Thanks. Okay, now let's talk about some more free resources. And once again, you'll find these on the resources page. The car flipping forum that I've invited everybody to join. It's free to join, and it's a place for you to share your information with each other. And that's of course on Facebook. Just search Facebook on Facebook groups. Look for car flipping forum. Just search Flipping Genius. You'll find that. Another free resource, Kathy Cruz. You've probably heard her. She's been on the podcast 3 times now, at least twice. I'm sorry. Time flies, but Kathy has written several books that she shares for free. And Kathy's a experienced professional from the car business and has a ton of good information to share. You'll find links to her free books at our resources page. Some on, we'll talk more about Kathy's other resources soon too. Another one, the National Insurance Crime Bureau. It's a NICB. You'll find a link to that on our resources page. That is a great place to find out if a vehicle that you're considering buying has been reported stolen. Another one is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the NHTSA. This is a huge one. You can use this to look up to see if there are any outstanding recalls on a vehicle that you're considering buying or that you're selling. As a licensed dealer, it is mandatory that you report this to your buyers. If you are a licensed dealer, this is something you've got to be doing. If you don't know about this, check with your state, check with your independent dealer association in your state, and you're going to learn more about this. But this is free. The NHTSA, we have a link to their site from our site, and you can check it out, and they'll tell you if there's outstanding recalls. Remember, those recalls will be taken care of by the manufacturer, by the dealer for the manufacturer. It's just it's something you probably want to do before you sell a car, is get those recalls taken care of, and it is free to do. Just take some time. Both those, the NICB and the NHTSA, are both sources on the resources page. You'll find them under more great stuff, I think is the heading there. Actually, YouTube is a place it's kind of crazy for me to even mention, like you heard of YouTube, but YouTube is such a fantastic source for me for just about everything I can think of, and hopefully, a lot of you are watching our YouTube channel right now, and again, please subscribe. The NIADA, the National Independent Auto Dealers Association, and your state's association site, their sites are fantastic resources for all kind of information about becoming a dealer, about operating within your state, about the state rules. And the NIADA is a fantastic resource that if you are a licensed auto dealer, highly recommend becoming a member of both your local association and the national association. It costs you I think it's about $300 a year, and it is absolutely well worth it. And again, check out the resources page. There's more free resources on there. Just for fun, I thought I'd talk about some other podcasts besides Flipping Genius that I highly recommend. One I just learned about, and I've listened to the first season, and I'm excited about listening to the second season. And I encourage you to look for them on Spotify, or you can just Google it. It's called Maverick, and my lovely daughter-in-law introduced me to this. It is a Christian-based podcast, all about some fantastic stories of missionary work. And the first season is based about one gentleman who is doing missionary work in Africa, and it is an amazing story of what some of these modern day folks are doing right now, risking their lives trying to tell people about Jesus Christ. And frankly, I am a Christian, and I try to talk about it on the podcast every now and then. I do try to talk about it on my car lot too, but I certainly am not stepping out as boldly as some other folks do. Maverick is a great example of that. Check that out. Another podcast that I've recently gotten into a little bit is called Erica Taught Me. Check that one out. Just look it up. You'll get a kick out of it. Erica is a young lawyer who can help you save some money, and she's got a lot of good ideas, including some money making ideas. One, I have to admit, I just discovered this today. And I might say, Randy, what has this got to do with flipping cars? Well, it has a lot to do with flipping cars. You've got to keep your mind right. And I'll tell you, Erica will teach you some things that will make you money. This one will just keep you entertained. I was just searching through, and I found Conan O'Brien has got a podcast called Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. And I got such a kick out of that. I think it's going to be in a regular rotation for me. Here's another one, again, mentioning our friend Kathy Cruz. You'll see me post some of Kathy's articles also on the Car Flipping Forum. Kathy also has a podcast called The First Pencil. Kathy has decades of experience running some major new and used car operations in the state of California. She knows a lot that you and I probably could learn from So check her out, her podcast out, The First Pencil. Um, Talking about somebody who knows a lot about making money, just in general, here's another podcast I love to listen to. It's called Ask Pat, and it is hosted by Pat Flynn, who is really one of my heroes online. I've learned a ton of things from Pat, and Ask Pat is excuse me, one where he talks to business owners like you and I, and helps you develop a better plan. Great stuff we can learn from his conversations with others. Talking about business ideas and creating ways to make some money on a side hustle. Side Hustle School is another great podcast I listen to occasionally. Usually fairly short episodes and a ton of good information. Check that out. I recently heard a couple people, including Erica, talk about how the typical millionaire has 7 streams of income. I'm still looking for more streams of income, and you probably are too. Side Hustle School is a great place to kind of keep your ear to the ground and see if there's some other way that you could improve your life financially. The Independent Car Dealer podcast. A lot of folks would call these guys competitors of mine. I frankly, that's probably bold for me to say. These guys do a fantastic job. They are car dealers. They bring some major talent on there, major knowledge onto their show. I do not listen as much as I ought to. Some of their guests have also been guests on our show, but check them out. It's called The Independent Car Dealer. I think you'll like that one. And then another podcast by my friend Pat Flynn is called Smart Passive Income. Kind of another twist on maybe on the Side Hustle School, but Pat is just such a great communicator. You're really going to like his podcast. If you haven't listened to him yet, definitely check those out. So those are some of my favorite podcasts. I'm not talking about my I've got a crazy desire to learn everything I can about my Wisconsin Badger football programs. A lot of the podcasts I listen to are about that, and I don't want to talk politics at all. So we're staying away from sports and podcasts or politics. And same thing with these websites and apps that I want to tell you about. I'm staying away from sports, politics, and barter because I want to zero in. And if you're not going to do barter, that's fine. If you want to learn more about barter, reach out to me. I'll help you get into that. But let's just talk about the flipping business. And hey, I believe flippinggenius.com is a great place for you to go if you are looking for more information about how to flip cars for a significant profit. FLIPPINGENIUS.com. And I continue to try to build that. If you want more information, please reach out to me and request it. One of my favorite apps on the planet is the Libby app, Libby. The Libby app and the Hoopla app, HOOPLA. Check them out. Look for those apps wherever you get apps for your phone. You will thank me on these two. I thank my son for introducing me to these. These are linked with your public library. So if you don't have a library card, get one. It's free. And then you can access audio books, ebooks, and have them delivered right to your phone, right to your computer, right to your tablet. And you can read or listen to books for free. They're derived from the public library system. Now, I also search for books that I can have delivered to my library. I love books, and I've got a goal for the number of books that I'll read and listen to this year, and I'm happy to say that's an ongoing thing. That's good. I think it's good for our brain. I listen to a lot of books just for fun, just to be entertained while I'm walking or exercising. But you could sharpen your mind, learn more about the car business. It's all right there. Libby and Hoopla. The Lose It app is a fantastic app that's on my phone that helps me track every calorie that I eat and every calorie that I burn. And I do that every single day. Last year, it accounted for 52 pounds that I lost. And over the course of time, I have almost shrunk my body to half. My goal is 200 pounds this year. At one point, I think it was 406 pounds. So the goal is to get down to half of what my former body weight was. And the Lose It app is a great tool. I don't pay them. I use the free Lose It app. Check them out. It's a great tool. You can pay money too, and I'm not saying not to do that. I just don't do it. I said I was going to talk about sports, but one of my favorite apps is The Athletic. I do read that virtually every day, and it popped up on the list, so I'm going to leave it there. The KBB app, I've struggled with it. I continue to use it all the time. We run into problems with it sometimes. Sometimes some technical glitches. I do run into some questions about the values that they're projecting. Kelly Blue Book is, of course, KBB, but I still use it all the time. So that's one of my favorite apps. If you've got resources that you use when you're valuing vehicles that you would like to recommend to me, please reach out and tell me, because I'd like to know more about that, and I'd be happy to listen to what you've got to say. And if it's something that we can share with our audience, hey, let's do that too. But that's typically what I use, is the KBB app. And another app that I use is the Pacer app. It tracks my steps every day and my miles every day. I have a goal every year for walking. Last year's goal was 1,800 miles. I walked 1,875, I think, or 1,885. This year's goal is 2,000 miles, and I am on pace so far. I keep tracking it. My minimum goal every day is 4 miles a day, and I have hit that 4 mile mark every day except for one so far. This is, as of today, this is the 25th of January, 2023. So I've done it 24 days in a row, and it's largely because of that Pacer app that I use. Another tool that I use on my phone, and you can use on your computer, is Canva. You might have heard me talk about this way back in like episode 32 or something like that. When Melody was on the show, we talked about Canva as one of the tools that you can use to sharpen your marketing. You've heard me. I advertised it earlier for Anchor. I always talk about Anchor. It is the tool that I used to reach you right now for the podcast. They do a great job. Castbox is where I often listen. It's one of the tools I use to listen to podcasts. I also use Spotify. Castbox has been the one I've traditionally used over the years. I still like it. Another app that I use on my phone is called Pick Play Host, and I use that for designing photos for display of my vehicles. Sometimes on some of the social media apps that we advertise on, like Facebook Marketplace and Nextdoor, there is a limited number of pictures, and if I want different angles, I can use the Pick Play Host to put 3 or 4 different views of the vehicle on the initial page. You check them out. Pick Play Host. It's free. Zoom. I love the Zoom app. I do a Bible study with some Christian brothers every Wednesday morning, using we use something similar to Zoom. Zoom is what I typically use when we do a one-on-one interview. Typically, I will just set up a Zoom call, and I can interview someone from any place in the country. Looking forward to a couple good interviews coming up soon. And if you'd like to be a guest on Flipping Genius, reach out to me. It's as easy as that. We just set up a Zoom interview, and we'll talk about the business that you've got going and what's happening. And one last one, just for fun, on another website, randylee.info. If you haven't heard my music yet, I do introduce you. I do invite you to come listen to me sing. I am a singer-songwriter, and I've played a lot of shows, mostly for other songwriters, where I host, and also I've done a lot of shows for folks in memory care centers and nursing homes. Most recently, the COVID-19 thing really shrunk that down, and I'm just getting back into doing some writing right now. But I've got a lot of songs on there, and I love to share them with folks. So if you want to check those out, please do. Um, I'm gonna do one more segment here, and like I said, everything that I tell you about, be happy to make it available to you. Just reach out to me at flippingquestions@gmail.com and just ask for a list of these things along with links. Um, I talked about before about the Libby app and the Hoopla app. I thought I'd just mention some of my favorite authors. These guys have accompanied me. A lot of them have accompanied me on these long walks that I take, and they have really helped me I entertain myself and clear my head. I listen to a lot of fiction, and these are my favorite 6 authors from the past year, especially. Ken Follett was somebody I just started listening to. Really, really enjoyed listening to and reading Ken Follett's books. Check him out. He does historical fiction, and I think he does a fantastic job. John Grisham, I've read everything that John has written. Fantastic storyteller. Janet Ivanovich is a lot of fun and also a good storyteller. I've read a lot of her books, listened to a lot of her books, especially recently. Got a lot of chuckles out of them. James Patterson, of course, I think he's the #1 selling author in the world. So I'm not real original on these things, but I love James Patterson's books. Really easy to read, gets you flowing. You've probably heard a new movie out right now. It's called A Man Called Oscar or something. Originally, it was based on a book called A Man Called Ove, and that was written by Frederick Bachman. And I have also read everything by Frederick Bachman. He is he's an author from Europe. Sweden, I think, but I don't speak Swedish or whatever language he speaks. I speak English, and they're translated in English, and the books are fantastic. And one new author that I just listened to, I read a couple of his books this year, Robert Harris, and those were excellent too. I know my notes said they were excellent, but I think I make a note to myself about books in it, and it said also drove me crazy. So it must have been fairly complex. But hey, that's the list of resources I wanted to share with you. I thought, get this out of my head, put it on the thing. Maybe I can help you both build your business and entertain yourself a little bit and grow your mind. If you think this is crazy, that's fine. That's fine. I hope it helps. And again, if I can share these with you, that would be beneficial. Just write me, flippingquestions@gmail.com, and I'll send you a list of everything that was on my list there. If you have anything to share, please do it that way. Check us out on Flipping Genius at Gmail at flippinggenius.com, flippinggenius.com, and email me at flippingquestions@gmail.com. That's a lot. That's a lot. Share us with your friends. Come back often. Remember, there's 153 other episodes besides this one, and hopefully there'll be another 154 to come as we continue to build. We'd love to be partners with you. We'd love you to become a flipping team member, a flipping partner, or a flipping champion. Go to flippinggenius.com and consider joining us. And when you do, we will interact with you and try to help you build your business. We also ask you to subscribe to the podcast, so you can get special information that only goes out to our subscribers. We ask you to subscribe to the Flipping Genius YouTube channel. That's free. Just check it out, and that way you'll never miss any of our episodes, including our videos. We've got over 100 videos there. We continue to grow and build. Make sure you're a member of the Car Flipping Forum, and check out any Flipping Genius groups in your area where you can also sell your vehicles and buy vehicles. I hope this helps, because that's the #1 goal, help you make more money. I appreciate you listening. We'll be back next week, God willing, with more information and possibly an interview with somebody about some great deals. If you'd like to be on the podcast, reach out to me for that too. Hey, let's work together. Let's make some money. Let's all become flipping geniuses.